Think of it. But no, because shootings happen here as well, though, don't they?
Yeah, what happened in June last year?
One happened in June last year.
Down the street?
Literally 10 seconds away.
So how did that? So that was close by to you. So how did that feel?
Scary, surprising.
We had to stay in this building while after it happened.
Really? What? It happened in the daytime?
Yeah. About 7 o'clock. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And it was still light outside.
So I mean, that must be kind of scary, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, do you think that because there's so many shootings that we're becoming a little bit desensitized to it?
People just want to treat it like it's normal.
So what did you guys think about that?
Well, like my friend, she lives in Florida, and she only just moved there as well. And her school is directly next to where the Florida shooting happened. And I just think it's stupid that they still have banned guns, because now that's given children in America, they don't feel safe in school, and they should feel safe in school because it's a place where you go to learn and to be safe and not get harmed. It's just for education.
I watched sorry Zoe, I watched this thing on YouTube.
Yeah, what that Deborah
I don't know if you saw it, and he was saying that his daughter had been shot, and he was saying, you know, directly to Trump, and he said, you know, if you can have security on airports, etc., why on earth aren't we securing our young people?
Yeah, no, exactly. And I mean, not to get like too political on it, but there's a young girl, I think her name's Deborah Tarr, and she had just did something on, as you say, like on YouTube, where there's a big youth movement that's happening in March, right, where young people are gathering on the White House lawn, right, because they're tired of all of this, and they actually want.
And what does that say to Trump if the young kids?
Well, it should say the right thing, because Trump, as we all know, came out and said, you know what, we should give teachers guns. I said I don't want to get political.
How ridiculous, you know, we're here to protect
I know, very ridiculous. I don't want to get.
And then it says what happens if you snoop.
And then it's not
Yeah.
Like for who they want.
How would you feel if I had a gun?
Did you Canada has the most amount of guns in the world, but the least amount of shootings in the world?
No, exactly. But I mean, James Corden had a thing the other night, and I mean, whatever you think about him, but he did a powerful monologue about all of this, especially about how that shooting happened in England. You know, one school shooting banned guns. You know, and why can't America, you know, follow suit? And other countries have banned this gun use. Yes.
It's also the fact that if you give a teacher a gun, the students are going to feel threatened and again scared.
And the thing is, we don't want guns.
Yeah, and if a student becomes like violent or aggressive in class, the teachers are taught to protect them, but instead they might just shoot them, and that's it's not.
It's not even kids with like mental disabilities, like ADHD or something. They might get dead angry and they might go in the cupboard and get a gun when no one's looking, and they could be shooting anyone.
Yeah,
if they left their classroom.
And there's a gun
or
a teacher left their classroom.
And I know it's that easy for a kid who was expelled to come into school with a gun. It's easy for a kid to get angry at a teacher
and take the gun from where the teacher has it. Yeah.
It should be normalised in a school for guns to exist. Like I remember watching the Kardashians. I don't care like what you think about the Kardashians, but it was after the attack in France, you know, where Kim got held at gunpoint. And the two of the other sisters wanted to have a gun in the house to protect themselves, and Kim went off on them, and she was like, well, I don't want my kids to think that having a gun should be normalised and everyone should have a gun, because when they grow up they're going to want to get a gun, and they're going to want to think, oh well, my auntie had it, or my dad had it, like I can have a gun.
Yeah, like, no, exactly. And I mean, but see, now what's important about all of this though is that one podcast from one place sparked the same conversation in another place. Yeah? I mean, if we had time, you know, we could do really big podcasts around that.
Yeah.
But this is what I'm trying to say about the loot. So, just as I said there in the end, this is what the loop is all about. What are your initial reactions to that? I know you can barely hear, but you can understand what the concept. That's why I gave you an overview first. I mean, what are your opinions around what you heard?
The teachers just took a gun into a class and used it.
I do not know that.
Yeah.
What?
It's on the news right now.
Yeah, it's on the news now.
It's on the news.
So do you know anything more about it?
Um,
Are you going to look it up there?
Anyway, I was really angry to see that. So
Yeah,
I
of course.
saw on news. Because now if the teacher is starting to do that, really, as a mother, I cannot say
And feeling justified because their own president said it. And I say their own. Their own president has said it. As I said, I didn't want to really get political about that, but this makes me really angry because I have not even heard that. Is that a teacher is now thinking that it's justified to go in. So did anybody get hurt?
No, nobody get hurt.
But he just took a gun and...
One student because he jumped out of the window.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
First floor or?
I don't know if it was the first floor, but she did hit herself. The ankle.
She hurt herself, yeah, of course she did.
Yeah.
She's terrified
Yeah.
and everything. But so the teacher, why did the teacher, do you know anything else? Like why? Well, Shiku's looking it up, but.
Yeah, so it's in Georgia, and a teacher just opened fire into the classroom.
Georgia!
The world's gone mad. The world has gone mad.
It is actually in America.
He
but-
fired a
It's gone mad.
gun
Wait, wait,
into the classroom.
He fired.
Yeah.
And that's why the girl jumped out the window.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one was
And even,
injured,
she
but yeah,
even
the
locked
female
the door.
students,
Yeah, the female student. She even
Oh,
locked
did he say why the teacher did this?
the minion.
I'm just looking to see this.
So the teacher fired into a classroom. After the president said, I think we should give teachers guns. Maybe, give them like, safety skills. And he didn't even say training. He just said send trained people in to teach. So like, wait, I've already trained and learned how to teach. Now you need me to go onto a gun range. But this teacher went in and fired.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Georgia.
really no explanation. The police haven't given any explanation. And he was an excellent teacher who was well thought of. But he just...
Please tell me it ended with his arrest though.
I'm sure it's the anger as well.
Please tell me it ended with his arrest.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
been arrested
he's
now.
been arrested. Yeah.
Breaking news here in 4 weeks.
So this is current.
It's for sharing.
So what do you guys think about all of that?
Scary.
Scary.
It was in the news this week in Japan. You have to train for 3 years, and then before you get a gun,
Oh yeah.
they interview all your family.
Mhm.
So one person there says, "Oh, she goes off here every now and again.
Mhm.
You won't get that gun."
Yeah.
And then you redo it every 2 years or
Yeah.
X amount
Yeah,
of time, and after sit the whole exam again and the whole interviewing of your family, which is good. And only one person has been shot, and that was accidentally. He shot themselves. In
That's not
X
funny,
amount
but
of
still.
years.
Yeah.
But
No. I mean, James
that's
Corden
good.
talked about that when he talked about the whole like gun banning scenario.
But they've said about the mental health. They've
Mhm.
mentioned the whole
The young
thing,
girls
which I've
did.
said no in Japan, which I've said nobody should be trained with a gun, whether you're dad and lad or anything like that, until you are 21. When you go in the army or when you go in the police, they mentally help you.
Yeah.
I'd never be given a gun.
Right.
I know that because I've got ADHD.
Yeah.
But people have to be tested and trained.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And tested and trained and tested and trained and tried. And when it's tried, the best of the best, the SEALs, 250 men
Yeah.
to be a SEAL, only about 20 pass at the end of X amount.
Counterpoint to what you're saying though is a lot of times these shooters are ex-soldiers.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and they've gone through training, and the problem is that they're suffering through whether it's some type of post-traumatic stress or whatever, American Sniper, all of that, a lot of them aren't trained. So I wouldn't say that's what the answer is. The answer is no guns at
But
all.
when they come out-
Really?
Yeah,
And also what Beth said about testing mental health.
Yeah, that is important. That's great. That's a great
You
aspect.
shouldn't be allowed to have guns then.
No.
In case post-traumatic stress takes a few years to
You
come
know
out.
what?
Exactly.
Did
You
you
don't
see,
know what noise, smell, or anything that's going to get you in a different scenario.
Exactly.
Do you understand? You can walk somewhere and remind you of home.
Mhm.
I can walk somewhere and remind me of being in Spain. Anywhere in Liverpool, you can get smells that can bring stuff up. What would that bring up if you have got a gun
Mhm.
and you're angry?
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone saw the experiment where this kid was going around just to see if he could buy a gun, and how easy it was to buy a gun.
Well,
I mean, not here, in the US.
Yeah, well.
And then at the same time, they say, no, you cannot do this and that until you're 21. You can't drink till you're
You can get a gun in the
21,
pool
but you
if
can
you
get
want
a
one.
gun.
You can get
without
bullets
any
in the
checks
pool
at all.
if you want one.
Yeah, Michael Moore, famous documentarian, he made a whole movie about it called Bolton for Columbine after a school shooting. But he went around to various different states to buy guns to show how ridiculously easy it is. And the Americans really stick to that whole Fourth Amendment to right to bear arms. And that is what needs to be dealt with. So the girl that I talked about, I couldn't get the video. You have to actually go on Facebook to find it. Delaney Tarr. She is a part of a youth movement, and it's happening this March 24th, that they're asking for the youth to join them on a march on Washington, right? To do a sit-in outside of the White House, because especially what Trump had said, and now what you've just shown how ridiculous the statement is that he has said, and what he's actually encouraged. What they're saying is this girl very eloquently really states it and breaks it down about how we're tired of your prayers and your understanding and your support. Ban guns.
Yeah.
And so the young boys that you started watching there, what we need to deal with, and the last thing I want to talk about is what they said, which is really scary, that shootings are starting to become the new normal. What do you think?
I agree with him, because the guns, they're going to school. As the president himself is saying.
Well, even here though, he's saying.
Yeah.
Here he's saying.
It is really scary, because I agree with him, because now even if you're sending children to school, they're scared of their own life, they want to protect themselves. They'll carry guns without their mom knowing it, without their parents knowing it. Yeah.
And I mean, because what we're hearing every day, not just in America anymore, that shootings have been happening. And so here in our area, it's to find out that shooting happened, they were in this youth club and they had to stay in the youth club, but thankfully the youth club was there to protect them. What if it wasn't? This was a daytime shooting, somebody randomly walked down the street and getting shot.
Yeah.
So in that fashion
it's
is
common
that
in Toxteth.
yeah, and that's what I'm just trying to say is banning of guns. It's it's great to look at it in the movie as far as a release. Cowboys and Indians, action heroes, all of that other kind of stuff. But when it's on your street corner, you know what I mean?
I lived in Old Swan about 4 years ago. A gang, and they were all shooting at each other. At 4 o'clock when all the kids were coming home from school. They didn't hit. Yeah. And there was just bullet holes in all the fences.
Yeah.
And chips in the walls. And like it being for a movie.
And that's the thing. It's the apathy. It's protecting oneself. People are thinking, I'm going to do it to protect myself, and or I'm apathetic, or I don't care. All these various different elements. And the main thing is, the more you keep it away, right? Using legislation to keep it away, the more chances you have that these accidents or incidents will not occur. So last thing I would just like to ask you is, how do you feel about being able to watch a podcast made somewhere else and then viewed somewhere else? And would you have a problem with someone viewing any of your podcasts that way?
No, I don't think so. Because it's learned from someone.
How it carries the conversation, doesn't it? Yeah, because again, remember, this thing is about empowerment. Do you know what I mean?
Awareness.
Yeah.
What?
Awareness.
Well, definitely about awareness.
It's all banned in every country. It's banned.
But this is how, a good side of the internet, because it's creating a conversation and a connection between people who don't actually know one another, but feel the same way.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
And different ages. I mean, those kids were in school and we're grown
Yeah, no,
We
exactly.
have a conversation and we agree
And
with
it
the stuff.
affects-
And
yeah,
and I
it
think we're
affects
quite
them.
mature with their responses.
And the thing about it is that's what they were also saying is that when they do have internet awareness in school, like you went to the eSafe conference, right? And what was it all about? It's mainly about, oh, the dangers of sexting, but we can't stop it, right?
Keep the kids safe, you know, on the internet, which is
Yeah, it's hard keeping them safe without the parents being aware of it.
Everybody
So,
needs to be aware. So if the
Well, yeah,
children
but-
are aware, the parents are aware, and you're all reading off the same, you're all watching the same news, and you discuss it at home yourselves.
but also too is, so my fine little joke around that is like, I often talked about Sherrington, right? Did I talk about Sherrington here?
Yeah.
About parents sharing their pictures. And today, it happens to be the day that they do it. It's World Book Day.
Yes.
And me and Billy were just enjoying looking at all the various different costumes that these parents joyfully are showing and displaying of their children
I've
on
seen
World Book Day.
all of Disney today coming here.
all right.
Yeah, but the thing about it is,
was Alice in Wonderland.
we're not saying Sherrington is wrong. We're just saying, be aware that you do it. Be aware that you are in the universe and your child is in the universe. And no matter how much money you spent on those outfits and how cute they look in them, they are out there. And I'm not saying, oh, danger, danger. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that you are a part of the system. So,
And be aware.
what happens is to be aware. Be aware that you're doing it. Be aware that your children are doing it. Be aware that it's out there. So how do you be safe is with your own knowledge of what it is that I am doing. Because you can actually privatize your Facebook for friends only. Friends and family only, you know what I mean? You can actually, as you were saying about controlling comments on your YouTube channel, you can enable the comments to be reviewed before they go out. Right? So that's how you actually moderate your channels. Like, oh, I got a comment coming in. That seems nice, safe, and cool. You know, somebody asked Mary Claire out on a date.
All right. So
All right, Jesus, leave me alone. You're not on camera. Anyway, thank you very much for watching.